Hello and good morning to you, Derek. Thank you for your time. You have a lovely view. I really admire the palm trees in the background. You know, here it's in Germany, it's bleak and cold, you know. So I'm really, you know, for you, you're living the good life at the moment, it seems. And I see you have a cup here, America, power to America. We can talk about this as well. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit and say who you are, what you're doing, and yeah, you know, what brought us together, basically the music.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Derek. I go by D-Punk. I'm with a band called DK0, and we're an industrial, kind of cyber industrial artist out of Los Angeles, California. And I'm just here in the backyard, my house, got the palm trees here, and it definitely feels like the good life right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just woke up, right? It's morning for you.
I just woke up. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. First cup of coffee right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, industrial. You know, I kind of got to know you through Seraphim, so through Thomas. So you played some shows with him, or how did you meet Thomas?
Yeah, I met Thomas when obviously with COVID happening right now, everything's shut down. But at the beginning of the year, we had a couple little tours up and down the West Coast, and I played a show in Seattle, and Thomas was on the bill in Seattle, and that's how I met him.
I see.
I was really impressed. You know, he shows up, just one guy and his guitar, and absolutely destroys the room. So it was.
Yeah, I thought also, you know, it's really ballsy because, you know, I mean, I've been a performer as well, and, you know, I did some acting and stuff, so I know how to be on stage, but just going out with your music all alone by yourself, wow, this really takes, I mean, you know, you are a performer as well. So anyway, you have a whole band, I take it, when you play?
Yes, we do. Well, sometimes we have a whole band. So when we started DK0, my initial concept behind it was that I wanted to play any show, anywhere, no matter what. So if there's a way I could do it as just a duo act, or I could add another person, or I could have 7 people on stage. I could do any combination therein, and it's been great, actually. So sometimes we tour with a full band where we have 2 guitars, we have keyboards, we have drums, we have Kato and myself. And so it can have a really big sound, but we've actually been playing more shows where we just have programmed drums, and, you know, we perform a little bit, and maybe we'll have a guitar player, or maybe we'll have a keyboard player with us. And that's what we did in Germany last year when we played Wave Gothic Treffen.
Oh,
we actually,
wow.
Yeah, we actually had my friend Chris Aganois or Chris L from Aganois, and Funker. I'm going to say this wrong. Funker
Vogt. Yeah,
Funker
I think
Vogt.
Funker Vogt. Yeah, you just leave out the I. You know, where you want to say maybe Vogt or something, but it's Vogt. Funker Vogt.
Funker Vogt. That's awesome.
I can speak German. Wow!
Thanks for teaching me. But yeah, we came over, just Kate and myself, for that show, and it worked out really well.
Okay, great. Just for that show, or you did some other gigs as well?
We did a lot of other shows, but for that particular show, we just had the 2 of us and Chris.
Oh man, I'm really jealous. Yeah, now with COVID-19 and stuff, you know, I always wanted to go to the Wave Gothic Treffen meeting, you know, because it's the biggest thing, as you know, and but my thing was, no, if I go there, I either go there as an artist or as a DJ, or I interview people and stuff. So, you know, I want to have a special pass to go there, not just as a normal person, you know. So I was so full of myself, and now I'm like, I should have, you know. And it's not far from where I live, so I'm really every year, man, yeah, you know. I hope things will snap back to normal. How are things, I mean, you already said we're affecting you.
Yeah,
How are you dealing with it? I guess you can do more now studio work or, working on new material, I guess. What are you doing?
that's exactly what's happening. I
Hmm.
am focusing a lot more on just writing, and I've actually been working with a lot of other artists and doing
Hmm.
mixing and mastering and remixes and just spending a lot more time in the studio using that skill set. And I'm actually working with Thomas again from Seraphim. I'm just finishing up an 8-song EP for him,
Hmm.
and I sent him over the final mixes yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so in
Cool.
the next couple days he'll get back to me with his notes, and I should have that finished in the next few days. So
Cool. Yeah, I saw that you're open for remixing and stuff. I think that's quite a skill because yeah, I'm always impressed what you can do. If you how you say, if you deconstruct a song and put it new together. So I really like covers, for example. But only if you add something on your own. If you just play it, note by note, then it's like painting by numbers or something. It will be kind of, it's already done. You don't do it.
by
Yeah,
numbers.
no, it is. If you
It
just
is,
do
yeah.
it like the artist already did it, why would you do it? It already
Exactly.
exists. So you need to. Anyway, for me, maybe my musical abilities are quite limited to deconstruct things and start new. So I'm always admiring this because this is kind of you you need to strike the balance that you can still hear the original but also spin it on something new. So it doesn't really work often. So yeah, kudos to you. I'm going to talk with Thomas, I guess, and see what's going on. I don't know. Was it the one where he put on vocals on some of his tracks? No.
No,
Okay. So
that's not the one. Yeah, he is working on that project as well, but this was something separate that he wanted to release as all instrumental, and he has maybe 3 kind of musical interludes in between 5 songs. So it's pretty
okay.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more
Cool.
of a
Cool.
concept, and
Yeah,
it's
now I remember. No, he told me the one with the lyrics will be next year. He's working on
yes,
because he's going like he explained to me. I didn't really get it. I just nodded and said, yeah, right on. Because he has like, okay, you do with two songs and then 4 songs, and you kind of how do you call this, quadruple it? You kind of always add things more. So I don't. Anyway, so next year will his and this will be a real album, like 12 songs or something. So he always adding songs. Anyway, sorry, we're not talking about Thomas. We're talking about you.
hey.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your musical background? How did you get into industrial music and found the brand? Where are you from? Yeah, what's your way to the music?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I grew up in California. My dad was an artist, and he was an art teacher, pretty amazing visual artist, and he played a little bit of guitar around the house. And I always had a thing for guitar. I just thought it was beautiful. And when I started getting into my teen years, I asked him if I could borrow one of his guitars, and that was sort of the end of it for me. As soon as I got it and I could put 2 chords together, man,
To
I was like
impress the girls,
tears
huh?
rolling down my face. I'm like, I'm home. This is it for me. And so yeah, I took that to college, and then ended up picking up a bass, and I found my real passion for music in playing bass. And so I spent the last probably 23 years as a full-time touring bass player. And I was in a band called Abney Park. It's a pretty big steampunk band.
I
And
heard of him. Yeah, I heard of him.
we've also done Wave Gothic Treffen in that band. But we toured all over the world, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Russia, Spain, France, UK, Netherlands, all over America, Canada, like it just everywhere. But it that was kind of like at the peak of what I was doing as a touring bass player. And from that band, that's how I met Kato.
Hmm.
And um, I had sort of always wanted to do my own project where I was leading it and making all the decisions. And with all the experience I'd had over the years, I just thought, now's a good time for me to kind of take the reins and make something cool happen that I want to have happen. And Kate had never sang before in a band, and she was really wanting to do that. And I don't know, we looked at each other and just said, yeah, let's start this project. Let's do this. And the first thing, when we got together, we were both going through some really bad breakups, both going through divorces, actually.
Oh, wow.
And as we were doing that, there was a lot of, as you can imagine, just that emotional heaviness and the weight
Turmoil
of
and
all of that stuff, and
roller
lots of
coasters.
tears, lots of frustration, lots of anger. And we leaned into industrial music. It just, I hadn't had a lot of experience in industrial bands specifically. As a session bass player, I would just play for any band that would pay me money to do a gig. So I played tons of different styles of music, but I'd never really explored that style. And with the music she was showing me and the way I was feeling and the way she was feeling, it just felt like a really natural fit. We immediately thought, oh yes, we're going to do this. This is the kind of music we're going to make. And I don't know. She was showing me a lot of things from the American perspective. So, more American popularized industrial, like starting with, for example, Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson. And then she kind of moved into showing me some other things like Rob Zombie and Powerman 5000, and then into Static X. And so it was a little more of that new metal kind of influenced
And you
industrial
haven't
pop
heard
rock.
of this before? I mean,
Well, I had heard of them. I just hadn't really listened to it very much.
okay.
I would hear the songs. I'd be like, it's pretty cool. But I never went and just said,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
going
yeah.
to
You
listen
never
to
really
this.
followed
I'm
and got
going
into
to,
it. Okay.
yeah, I never just explored it. And as I dove in with all that energy that we had, it just, I was eating it up. I fucking loved it, man. And I just really wanted to do that. And so our first album, I feel like, was a pretty spot on representation of that era of industrial kind of new metal rock. I feel like that was what I wanted to do, and that was pretty much what we accomplished. And emotionally, it was really heavy for us because all the lyrics were about, just having your soul ripped out and all the pain you're feeling from betrayal and, the anger you have. And so lyrically, it's a really heavy album for us. And coming out of that record, we started touring a lot. And as soon as we hit the road, we realized, okay, maybe we need like some higher energy songs and maybe some stuff that feels a little more like we're going to have a party and not we want to shoot ourselves in the head.
Yeah, no, also that, yeah, okay, and also that you can kind of mix it up a little bit, I mean, I like this kind of music, I like depressing and dark and heavy songs and also, dark lyrics. I mean, that's all my channel, what it's about. But yeah, I also noticed it's sometimes good to kind of, if you construct a nice set, then you have some songs like this and some songs like that, and then you can mix it up, and it's not always, depressing show.
All night. Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's also fun, and I guess in a Wave Gothic Treffen, you met a lot of people. I mean, you would just listen to this straight but it's the one part of the world, this one time where all of these people are together. The normal crowd, at least I imagine, likes it a little bit more mixed up. Not just one note band kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I heard. So my favorite thing about being there has been both times that I've been. It's been performing and then spending the next 3 days just going to as many shows as I can go to, exploring the city, talking to everyone, trying to meet as many people as I can meet. And that for me has actually been more of the highlight than even the performance.
Hmm.
You know, obviously the performance is amazing. That's why I want to be there. But oh my God, the people I meet and the relationships I've built and the friendships I have now from people all over the world. It's um, I don't know. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, even if I have nothing to do with it, I'm a little bit proud that this happens in Germany, because it's kind of it's such a melting pot, and the whole city kind of gets engulfed in this, and the whole city also kind of helps along. You can ride everywhere, and basically every little pub is gonna be some you're gonna hear something there, and I'm really proud that this happens in Germany, and I hope it will happen again. So even though I'm not involved in any kind, I'm just German. That's it.
Yeah, it's really unique. I've I don't think there's anything like it in the world.
Hmm.
So I feel lucky that I've been able to go there and be a part of it. So
I'm jealous. I'm not jealous only on your palm trees, but also on that. So, you talked a little bit about the performance, and I guess you grew up in the musical household, and with all the chops you got, kind of working with other bands, you picked up a lot of different things how you can present music. So for
yeah,
you, it kind of became natural to present your music, because for me, sometimes it's a difference if you, especially with your first album, so heartfelt and so so honest. Let's say,
yeah,
put it this way. It's sometimes hard to, how you say, to distance yourself a little bit, because on stage you kind of should play the. I mean, you said Rob Zombie or so. You should play the rocker, you should play this big guy, that people, like
yeah,
Rammstein or something. You should be an oversized version of yourself, not really
yeah,
yourself, but if you're too honest in your music, and I like this, of course, I don't want you to pretend or something, then sometimes it's tougher. I see it tougher, to play the role. So how did you deal with that? Could you? I mean, you I guess you're a special kind of thing, because you had so much experience, so you already know what you were doing, kind of. But you got a role before you started.
yeah. I think in a way, you're right though. You're right. Like sometimes it's hard emotionally to be sing these really honest lyrics and know where it came from and have those feelings when you're performing. And I think that's probably true for anyone. Um, I do feel fortunate in the fact that I have played thousands and thousands of shows in my lifetime in varying capacities in different types of bands. So when I walked into this situation, even though it's really tough for me to perform some of the songs that I wrote on the first record, I still can figure out a way to I can use my tools and my skill set from my previous experience to, like you said, kind of step outside of
Hmm.
myself
To
and do the
distance
performance
yourself a
the way
little bit.
it needs to be.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah. And for me, it's also been really helpful. Like you were saying, okay, yeah, you write some songs like this and some songs like that, and you can mix your setup. And so not everything has the same feeling or the same sound. With our second record, it's so high energy, and it's lyrically it's a little more about tits and ass and science fiction and cyber sex and all this stuff, like robot fucking, and so like for us to be able to have that in combination with a song that's like turn up the hate, then it's
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, cool, I can scream and be really angry and talk about like my demons coming out at night and I can't fucking sleep and all this stuff. And then the next thing I can turn around and be like, oh my God, I love you. It's like,
Okay, but yeah, this is the perfect. I mean, yeah. Okay, you got the mix down. Um, so, um,
well, I want to go back to something you were
okay,
talking
yeah.
about
Sorry.
earlier
Yeah.
with remixes and stuff like that. And on this second record, I also wanted to explore doing a cover song, which I hadn't really done before. Obviously not in this scenario, but I hadn't really done one where I just take it and run with it and do something unique. So I went with The Doors' Break On Through, and
It's a great
I
song.
did think, yeah, it is a great song. It's a great song. And I wanted to do something heavy and definitely a little bit more industrial with it, but also try to keep it true to form, you know? And I feel like I did a pretty good job with that one. So I'm proud of that one.
Okay, so I have to admit I haven't heard it yet. I will check it out. I will link to it and give you my comments about it.
Yes, give us some feedback.
So how has your I mean, you seem to be quite successful. So how did your brand of industrial, because for me I was listening through some of your newer stuff, and you know, the more like you said, tits and ass stuff. I was a little bit like, oh yeah, this is very danceable. This is really, you know, this is kind of club culture kind of thing, you know. So how was it received by the goth culture public in United States or worldwide?
So far, we've actually had really good response. You know, we have kind of purists, and there are in every genre of music, but there are some purists who don't appreciate the lyrics that I write, or, you know, they don't appreciate some of the choices I make stylistically, just in terms of, you know, my edits or the synth tones I use or whatever it is that makes them feel like it doesn't feel as dark or brooding or heavy as it should. But aside from comments like that, I'm getting a really good response. You know, most people seem pretty happy with it. And it is taking off. It's doing really well. It's doing well on Spotify and iTunes. We're getting a lot of streams. We got picked up by Cleopatra Records this year because of the success that we had with a couple of the singles that we put out before we released the record. And that's been really awesome. I feel like we haven't had a full experience of what it's like to be on Cleopatra yet, because as soon as we signed the deal, the world shut down. And so we haven't had the opportunity to really take advantage of the things that they have to offer. Like, you know, Powerman 5000 is on their label. Ministry is on their label. Like, you know, like there's a ton of great bands that I am directly connected to that right now I cannot do anything with. So but when things turn around, I feel like hopefully in 2021, things will be open again near the end of the year. And I'll be, you know, in a prime spot to be able to go out on tour with these guys. And so I'm looking forward to that aspect of our growth as a band, is just taking advantage of some of the things that our label has to offer that we really haven't had the opportunity to just experience yet. But aside from that, they've been absolutely fantastic. They're a family-run business, and it's Brian Pereira. He's the main guy. He started it in the early 90s, working with Lemmy and Motorhead, and he built that label from scratch himself. And you know, and the guy who contacted me and brought me in was his son, Kyle, you know? And so it's like a family thing. And Brian's brother, I think he manages all of the things to do with shipping and merchandise through Cleopatra. So, you know, I know all those guys now by first name. I have all their phone numbers in my phone. I can text them any time of day. We're constantly talking every week. Even though there's not much going on in the world, it's still
you never know when it will pick up again, you know. So
you never know. You never know. And keeping that relationship really fresh all the time has been really exciting for me. And it's nice to know that I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through. That, you know, even the label's feeling it. They're feeling that frustration and that pain of like, fuck, we can't do anything right now. Like, and you know, like we can release stuff and we can ship things out, but we can't ride that energy of like, oh, here's a new release. Now let's just get out there and go kill it, make a name for yourself in the world. Like we can't do that for them right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think like everyone, like you said. I mean, it's everywhere the same. I'm in Germany. Everything hit the pause button at the moment. So, but I think it can even turn out to be even better because once you get out there again, people will really know what we have. And I have to admit, I was also. I mean, I have a family now and circumstances and stuff. So I wasn't going out to support bands, my local scene, as much as I should, because I always ask you, oh no, you should go to this, and I don't know this band, but just check them out and just be there, show up for events. And I think now, once things will start again, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, realistically, 2021, then people will really, itch and be, like, oh, now we really need to go again,
For sure, there's going to be a fervor and an energy there.
Exactly. Everyone sees now what he's missing out on, So in a way, it can even help. I mean, it can help the live industry. So that they really know that's such a difference because everyone is doing streaming and you releasing stuff on Spotify. You're doing well on Spotify. That's good. It's of course great, but it's not the same as being in the same room or in a festival with guys. I mean, you already said that's and you seem to be really good at this. Networking is the key. Go out there, play. You only get better if you're on stage. You cannot practice in your rehearsal room. Oh, now I'm being on stage and doing this shenanigans. And there's a heckler, and you need to know how to deal with it, and blah blah blah. And and you get distracted by the girl in the front row, and all these things. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you're a seasoned veteran, so to say. You have seen it all, it seems to me, but still, life is life. That's basically it. And even like you said in the beginning, sometimes you have a full band, and even if sometimes you just use backing tracks without saying bad things about it, it's still a performance you do, and still you still need to captivate the room, and even with less people, I think, like we said about Thomas, it's even harder, and it needs more guts to be there, and it's just you and your keyboard player, and and then what if they say, and people maybe ignore you and go to the bar, and then you still need to do a good show. But anyway, this is something you learn only doing live. You can imagine it in your head as much as you want. It's never as it is in real time. That's my point here.
Yeah. No, you have. I mean, live is, like you said, live is live. Live is a whole other experience and a whole different way of experiencing your own songs too as a performer. Like, it's really great for the audience. It's really great for the performer. Like, I'll play the same song 20 dates in a row, and every single time I play it, it will feel different. I'll get a different energy from the crowd. I'll experience something a little bit different in that performance versus another performance. And it's cool. I need that in my life. I'm missing it so much right now. Not being able to just have that energy. It's like,
Do you have this? I'm compared to you. I'm nothing. But I had this as I was in a play, and it was very successful. And people would kind of on the street. Hey, I saw you there, and it was great. And and after 2 weeks, it ebbed up completely, and nobody was. Do you have this also when you come home and everyone was shouting and roar, and then you kind of fell into a little depression or in a little hole and stuff? So okay, yeah. So you get this too.
Real, dude. That is very real. Absolutely.
It's like a truck,
It's that post-tour kind of. It's like, I don't know what you call it, like a slump or a depression or whatever, but I get it every single time that I'm gone for an extended period of time and I'm playing a lot of shows and I have that momentum and that energy. And I am looking forward to coming home. But once I get home and everything settles down, I don't know what to do with myself. You know, it takes a week or two for me to kind of, I don't know, come back to my center, come back to reality, kind of get my feet back underneath me and feel like, okay, yeah, I can now do something again. Like, okay. But yeah.
So and how do you do that? Do you do, I mean, yoga, or do you do something to how do you deal with that?
You know, I'd like to say that I'm healthy about it, but I don't think I am. Honestly,
You're honest. That's good. That's good.
I don't think I am. I want to be like, yeah, I do yoga and I eat vegan and, like, you know, I go worship the sun every morning, but I don't. I sleep too much and I'll drink too much because I'm depressed that I'm not out, and then I'll eat crappy food, and after about a week of that, I'll be like, all right, enough sulking, you know, get your shit together, get off the fucking couch, you know, do something with yourself. And then I'll just basically tough love myself or force myself to have to, you know, pull my pants up again, tie my shoes and do my thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, in German we call this den inneren Schweinehund überwinden. But this is like you have this the literal translation is the inner pig dog. You know, you have a little pig in you, kind of just want to rest, and a dog wants to be lazy, and you kind of force them together, and you need to kind of overcome it and you know, put it on a leash and say, no, I'm the master. So you step back and okay, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to know from a seasoned musician like you, you're still dealing with it. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the game, I guess. So you can not have one without the other, I guess. So
yeah.
So you seem to be, and you don't have to answer this question, but you seem to be in the lucky position to be self-sustaining by music, right?
Right now, yes. I have definitely had ups and downs with that my whole adult life and my whole career in general. There are definitely high moments and some really low moments. So right now is actually surprisingly good. So it's surprisingly doing okay, even despite everything. And that's why I know when things turn around again, that it's going to be even better, and it'll be like maybe one of the highest points I've ever had. But right now it's really good because my skill set in the studio that I've been working on for the past 5 or 6 years, it's now finally sustaining me on top of just doing music and things like that. So I'd like to say that DK0 is supporting me 100%, but it isn't. You know, I've been a part of Kato's business for the last 5 or 6 years, where she does the modeling and erotica and all that sort of stuff. So that has actually been one of the main things that sustained both of us through this past 5 or 6 years, is just the success of her business. And it's given me the time and the freedom to learn the skills to be better in the studio and to be able to have that confidence to be a producer and to do the things that I now know how to do. And now I don't need anything that she does in terms of like financial resources. So it's worked out really great for me, actually.
Cool. You're living the dream. You're living really the dream. I mean, the dream in a nightmare, you can say, but it will be over one day, and then you you get out swinging. You kind of, you know, cool. Yeah. You're one of a few who can live from it. I talked to so far, so I'm always happy, you know, that you can reach the goal if you work hard, and I guess you worked hard. You played in a lot of bands, and you got a lot of connections through this. I'm pretty sure, you know. So this is what I always tell everyone, you know, just talk with people, just ask them, and don't be too shy, you know, to we cannot. I mean, the worst thing we can say is no, or don't respond at all, and that's a response as well. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Well,
like.
I think one of the coolest things for me when I meet musicians, and especially people who are more famous than me and are really successful, I'm almost always surprised by the fact that they're actually mostly really personable people. Like they appreciate you walking up to them and saying hi and introducing yourself, and not fanboying too much, just being yourself and being human with them and asking them real questions, and being funny and cracking jokes. And if you're that kind of person, I guarantee 90% of the people who are really successful are going to respond well to that. And that, I feel like that's something I learned early on from meeting people and watching them act the way they act. And so I took that to heart and just said, all right, that's how I'm going to be. I'm going to just go out there and just say, fuck it. I'm going to say hi to anyone I want to say hi to. And, I'm going to tell them how much I love them. I'm going to ask if I can get a selfie. I'm going to, crack a joke. I'm going to see if I can get them a beer,
You're just a normal person. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So because you just brought us up, what was kind of, was there such a fanboy thing for you that you met some? I mean, I guess you met somebody and you were kind of speechless or something, or awestruck with this is Lemmy or whoever it is for you. Was there such a incident?
Dude, I still fanboy over these people.
Yeah, I imagine, because I want to be also like you said. I'm completely with you. These are just people like you and me. We're gonna buy groceries and we're gonna have a normal life and a family, whatever. But for me, sometimes it's like. I hyperventilate like a little girl, like So yeah, anyway.
Like, honestly, if I ever had an opportunity to meet Trent Reznor, I would probably fanboy a little bit too hard. I just feel like, for me, just in my whole life, he's definitely been an idol that I've had. And I've had my ups and downs with his music, whether I like it or don't like it, and whether I listen to it or don't listen to it. But just as an artist and what he's been able to accomplish being an industrial artist in the world, he's at the top, the very top. And so I don't know. I feel like personally, if I had a chance to meet him, I'd probably say something stupid.
Yeah, and I think this will happen to him so often that he's kind of. I mean, he will be most likely very professional and like, oh yeah, one of these guys.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, it's so that's sometimes that's something what music, maybe also movies or something, do with you is as a consumer. You feel such a deep connection to the person performing, and you kind of make the music your own. Like you said, with your first album, I guess there's a lot of people who went through some dark stuff as well, and kind of for them the music is more than just the notes and the lyrics. It's something. But I don't know. For me, sometimes if I hear a certain song, it's like a time travel. You go straight to the point where you heard it, and the feelings come up, and you can smell things. That's what I really love with music. That it's so intimate, and you can really have a connection with the people. You without even knowing them, and they are so deeply feeling with you.
Dude, I know you get that real visceral, like, physical connection to an energy that is in this song, and whatever that song is to you, it brings it up. And like, there are songs where I'll hear it, and even still I'll shed a tear. I'll cry a little bit as soon as it comes on. I'm like, yeah, that's my song.
I know. Oh man, yeah, I have songs like this too. So, but yeah, this is the cool stuff. It's so personal, and Yeah. Okay, I already asked you. So maybe do you have a nice story you want to share of somebody you met and you kind of fanboyed over? Yeah, if you don't want to share, you don't need to. But I can imagine that you met some exciting people for you, and yeah.
Okay, so here's one fanboy moment.
Okay, yeah, just give me
I
one.
was in I was in a band in Seattle, and it was, oh God, this would have been 2007, and I had just kind of I'd come out of an experience where I was in a band for 4 years, touring, playing blues, and kind of jam band circuit stuff. And we traveled. We played 200 plus shows a year. I lived in a 15 passenger van. We were just gone. And after 4 years of that, I left the band and I ended up joining this other, like, kind of soul pop band,
Okay.
and like indie rock soul,
Hmm.
and this guy singer who just had this beautiful voice, and it I don't know, for some reason I was like, this is something I need to do. It's a path I need to go down. So I joined this band, and they said straight away the day after I joined, hey, we're going to enter this Battle of the Bands contest in Seattle. And I start laughing. I'm like, dude, I haven't done a Battle of the Bands contest since I was fucking 17. Like, but
Yeah, here
I
we
was
have an
like, all
age
right.
limit.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, if we're going to do a Battle of the Bands, we're going to go win this motherfucker. Like, let's do this. And so we go, and sure enough, man, we won every single week for 4 weeks in a row, and then we won the regional battle that included 4 states, the whole Western United States. So we won out of like hundreds of bands. We were number one, and each region in the U.S., there were 4 regions, had a winner, and Heineken was running the whole thing. And so it came down to 4 bands, and we were like, "Holy shit, man! This could be really cool." And at the end of the day, we ended up winning this contest after they reviewed all the video footage of all the performances. They chose us, and we got to fly to New York, and we opened up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers and
Wow.
Snoop Dogg and 311 and Garbage, and I got to meet Bootsy Collins, and oh man, there's so many fucking people there. We're staying in the Waldorf Hotel right in Manhattan. All the fucking bands are staying there. You got to see all these famous people walking through the lobby, and I felt like the biggest rock star of all time in that moment, and everything was covered. They picked us up in a limo from the airport. They took us straight to the Waldorf. There's red carpet. We walk out. Like, we don't even have to check in. We didn't even have to carry our bags. Like, they just we already had our room set up. They took us out on the town. We fucking partied. They fed us sushi. A table so big full of sushi, dude. You could lay on it. It was so amazing. And the next morning they picked us up at like 10 a.m. again in a big stretch limo, drove us to the frickin' concert, and we did our sound check at like 11, and we hung out for quite a few hours, and then people started coming. The show started opening. They had the bands on the side stage playing, and yeah, we got to do our performance there. And I had like tons of friends that were in New York that came out to see us play, and even my mom went out and saw us play. It was so cool.
Cool.
So it felt really awesome. And at the end of that, we finished, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to go hang out backstage?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want to fucking hang out backstage," because the Chili Peppers were going to play that night, and like I'm a massive fan of Flea, and so I we went backstage, and I sat side stage and watched Snoop Dogg's performance from the side stage right behind his bass player. Watched the whole show, watched everyone leave, got to say hi to him, felt like a rock star, took a photo with like Bootsy Collins, and then fucking Chili Peppers come on, and Flea's, all of his basses are literally right in front of me. I'm literally touching his basses. He comes rolling out in his little tighty-whitey underwear, and he stood right there, played the whole show, and when they were done, they're leaving, and John Frusciante was on the other side of the stage, comes all the way across the stage and leaves that way, and I had a CD from our band that we performed with in my hand, and as he comes out, I was like, John, and I handed him a CD, and he's like, oh, people are trying to talk to him. He kept his head down, and I was like, John. He looks up, and I throw the CD, and he just grabs it out of my hand, and he goes, that, and I was like, oh, Fanboy.
Oh man, that's a cool story. Oh man.
And then as we're leaving, so this is the time when they had just released the double album Stadium Arcadium, the Chili Peppers did. And as we're leaving, everyone who was a part of that team was there. So Rick Rubin, their producer, was fucking there. And as we're walking out the parking lot to go get into the car to go back to the hotel, he's fucking right there. And I'm like, Rick, again, me being like, oh, I'm going to go say hi to him because, like, I love what he does. I just walk right up to him like, Rick, dude, huge fan of yours, man. Like, do you mind if I get a picture? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So I have a picture with Rick Rubin. I'm just like, backstage. So yeah, that was like simultaneously one of the biggest rock star moments I have, along with probably one of the biggest fanboy moments I have.
Yeah, but I see. This is what I would think. It's kind of, you cannot really. I mean, and in this case, you are kind of prepared. So because you knew these guys would be there, I think it's tougher sometimes if they just hit you. I mean, if you just see them. It happened to me to see Billy Corgan as I was living in Washington, D.C., and I was like,
oh, that's so awesome.
It was like I was just going by and went, that's really cool. I had a very high voice on this day, and so my point is, you kind of were prepared and still a fanboy, if he really hits you and that's just fair, when it's kind of anyway. This yeah.
Oh, I have another funny story for you. So I lived in Seattle for a lot of years, like for 18 years before I moved back to California. Like I said, I was from here, but I lived up there for a long time. Moved back. Anyways, when I'm up there, I was in a lot of bands. That's when a lot of my touring was happening as a session bass player, was in that city. And I went out to go see Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. They were playing at the Moore Theater, which is kind of like a 2,000 person venue right in Belltown in downtown Seattle. Really famous venue. And I parked in a parking structure in one of the buildings that was near there, and then walked down, saw the show. It was really amazing. I was with a couple of bandmates of mine, and they were big fans of Nick Cave. So it was an awesome show, and we're leaving. We're just talking about how great it was and all this stuff, and trying to remember where we parked, and and we get back to the parking structure, and we go to hop in the elevator, and in this elevator, instead of floor numbers in this building, they had objects. So there was like a peach, a pair of jeans, a group of cherries, some grapes, banana, like all this stuff. Like that's all the floors are based on that. So
sounds like a Las Vegas kind of, this slot machine.
Yeah. So as you kind of go up, obviously you eliminate some of the elements and stuff like that. But we get in the elevator, and right as we get in the elevator, Eddie Vedder and his wife walk in. Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam walks in with his wife, and they're just like, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" And I'm just like, "Fuck me, it's Eddie Vedder! Holy shit!" And he goes to press the button like that, and I'm like stunned at this point, and the elevator starts to move, and he looks over at us and he goes, "What floor are you guys on?" We're like, shit, I don't remember. And he goes, "Peaches or jeans?" And I'm like, "Peaches." And he pressed the peaches.
Oh man, you should have taped this. This kind of out of context. This would be kind of so funny. To
Dude,
peaches or jeans.
I know peaches or jeans. I'm like, peaches.
Oh man, oh man. So he saw the show too, or was he just there?
Yeah, he was there.
I see.
He was there because he knew Nick, I think. So him and his wife, I think, were just backstage watching the show. But
I see. So actually, in the bad seats, there's also a German. I don't know if you know Blixer Bargeld from Einstürzende Neubauten. You have okay. So he's big in, or he still is big in Germany. Einstürzende Neubauten. This is kind of the kind of really early industrial. I mean, we used really power drills and machines to do.
I do know who they are.
I think you would know that who.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Blixer Bargeld is his pseudonym. His artist name. And he plays in the bad seats. I don't know what he plays. He's a multi-instrumentalist, so he can play a lot of things. So yeah, you might have seen in this evening as well.
Him then.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. If he was on into them, yeah, it's the Germans infiltrating the cool bands and stuff. Yeah. No, he sometimes also sings with. I have to admit, I haven't really follow. I mean, I like Nick Cave, but he has a certain. I cannot always listen to his things.
I agree.
You need to be in the mood. I like it, but it's not for everyone and every time, there's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually like that you're kind of music-wise all over the place, I really because for me this is sometimes people box themselves in too much, that they're kind of only this is I think you said it in the beginning as well. This is the only true thing, and this is then it it falls by the wayside, and then it's not true that or this anymore. And for me, it's like music is like a big green pasture, and wherever you go, it's correct. There is no right or wrong. You run in this direction, and it's absolutely fine. I understand. Maybe you can talk about this, but yeah, anyway, you don't need to. But maybe for a label, it's a little bit tougher if a artist always kind of reinvents themselves, So because one time you make this record and then you make that record, and it's kind of something different, It's still you, but with a lot of different colorations or connotations, or how you would say this, different.
Yeah, different connotations of yourself. Yeah, different versions.
Yeah, exactly. But as an artist, I love that. I love that you have no boundaries, that you can do whatever you want, whatever feels right. But for a label, it might be tough. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, feeding off of what you're saying. Like, I personally feel I am just a fan of music, and I am a fan of life, and I have to play music, and I need to feel as many emotions as I can feel with music. I need to feel that for myself personally. So I can't just listen to one style of music, and I can't just play one style of music, because I feel like I wouldn't be honest. I wouldn't be true to myself. I wouldn't. And like you said, you put yourself in a box, or you create these limitations, and like, I don't ever want to feel limited. I don't mind feeling like I'm in a genre, and like for me to say I am an industrial artist, and I honestly truly believe I am an industrial artist. But I also know that I wrote an Aphex Twin style song on this album and sang about titties, and it doesn't sound like industrial music, but it was honest. It's what I felt in the moment. It was what I was listening to and what was influencing me, and it was enough for me to do it, and I felt good about it, and I felt like, yeah, this is what I needed to do. This needs to happen, and I think the really great artists do reinvent themselves a lot. I think it's actually pretty rare that you find. I think you do find artists at a massive level that end up writing a lot of songs that have a lot of the same energy because they can find that success there. They found success. It's easy to like continue to compound that success by writing in that similar way a lot. And, you know, if I found some massive success with one song, I'd probably do the same thing because, you know, I'm building a business as well as being an artist, and I want my brand and my band to be successful. And I want that kind of freedom to be able to then turn around and say to myself, fuck it, I'm going to write this kind of song and release it. I'm going to do that. You know, I'm going to write an album like this, or I'm going to tour with this band because I fucking want to right now. You know, finding that financial freedom, I think it's pretty rare. It's pretty fucking rare. And until then, you should try to rediscover things. You should try to do as much as you can and figure things out for yourself and experience different things.
I was just thinking as you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just feel like I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, no. It's about you, you know. So if you want to go on, I was just picking up that you said that every big artist reinvents himself, and I was just thinking of David Bowie. You know,
that's what was in my brain. Yeah,
exactly. But because he was so, I mean, it's so consistent what he did. You know, he kind of always surprised you with a Ziggy Stardust era and this era, and then pop, and then he did something with the Pet Shop Boys, and then he did harder stuff. I mean, it was like, you know, I guess you're the same. I don't like every song of his, and some I like more and some I like less, but I appreciate that he tried out new things and that he did always, I mean, he didn't care about the boundaries, and he just was, for me, a true artist because he was just doing whatever he wanted. Another band that came to mind was Paradise Lost. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did so different albums, and I like it, you know. I don't know, I don't like every album because of that, you know, because I don't really listen to, but I like the intention that we don't get stuck and this is our niche, this is the only thing we do, and so this is for me it's like if a punk band plays punk after 20 years, then this means you haven't learned anything, you know. It's kind of you have not progressed in life. I mean, okay, maybe there's exceptions, but you know, like Offspring or so. But they are intelligent from the Get Up already, or Bad Religion or so. You know, they meant to be accessible, but they have. Anyway, sorry. Now I'm getting somewhere else, but I'm completely agree with you. That's so. I sometimes just have a feeling, and this was kind of my question, that I guess the people who really follow you, the people who really are into your music, they will mostly get it. You know, you will lose a few who are kind of just, oh no, I need only this, and this doesn't fit in the box anymore. But I can imagine that for a label, it's maybe a little bit tougher to kind of have. I mean, this would be extreme to say, you know, you do ska funk music and then industrial metal. To have this shift, this kind of how do we sell this? You know, this is a little bit too extreme. But
I think so. For me, at least in my concept, like I said before, because I'm trying to build my band and my brand, you know, I'm labeling myself industrial. So every piece of influence that I get, from no matter where it comes from, I'm trying to push it through a filter of industrial music. So it's not going to sound like every other band, and I don't want it to sound like every other band, but it definitely sounds like me. It's definitely being pushed through my filter, whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. And I think that's a good thing. I don't know. I feel like the artists that I see do that, like even big pop bands like Madonna or like Lady Gaga, you know, or whatever. When you look at these girls and you look at like what they do when they constantly try to recreate or reinvent themselves on every single album, you know, it all gets pushed through that funnel of like, okay, this is Lady Gaga, and so it's going to have these elements to it, but we're going to do it like this. We're going to take this, you know, and throw it through the synth pads and the sounds that she's going to use, the shit that always makes her sound like Lady Gaga. And so Madonna's same way, and I really appreciate stuff like that. You know, I love it when people bring different influences to their sound, but it still sounds like them, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, what you just said. I grew up in East Germany, so for whatever reason, Depeche Mode was big in East Germany. For whatever reason, we
big
got
in America too.
but I don't know. I don't remember how this was possible because we were kind of behind the Iron Curtain. But you heard a lot of Depeche Mode. But this is also a band kind of. It always sounds like Depeche Mode, you know. There's some albums I really don't like that much, but most of them I really like, and it's always and sometimes even, you know, Dave is singing most of the time, and then sometimes Martin is singing. So, and even this you can hear, and it has the Depeche Mode vibe and stuff. So yeah, that's a good. We kind of found their funnel where we get it through, and it comes out as them. So yeah, I guess this is something like every serious artist should look for. What kind of makes him unique? What kind of is his sound, his or her sound, and really, really cultivating it, and sticking with it, because this is also. I have a friend who is a really good musician, and he's always like, "Oh, this is in the charts right now. We do this music, and you know he can pull it off because he's a really good musician. But he's always running behind the trends and never really doing what he wants. He just wants to please the masses, or you know, satisfying the market. He thinks what's on, and I really think, and you seem to me the same. But it's kind of. Do what you like and what you really love, and then you know the sincerity will kind of ooze out of this, and you will kind of people will feel it, and will feel that there's a true person behind it, not just somebody a cash grab, whatever. You know, this is in now. We do some trap movements and boom, and then you're in.
Yes.
So what kind of bands are you into at the moment? Just at this moment right now?
At this very moment right now, you're probably gonna laugh, but no, it literally in the last like week, I've just incessantly been listening to this artist called Youngblood, and he's from the UK, and it's just there was something about a single he released a few months ago, and it's called Strawberry Lipstick. And I heard it for the first time about maybe a week ago, and I just couldn't stop listening to it for some reason. And it's really punk. It's like straight up punk, and it's got a big pop chorus, but well produced. And I don't know. I liked his vibe for some reason. And like, I just dove deep, and I've been really, because I'm mixing an album right now too. I've actually been doing back-to-back albums. So I haven't had a lot of time in the last 6 weeks to really explore a lot of stuff. Cause I'm really, when I get into a project, I try to put myself in the artist's position, and I live, eat, and breathe that project until it's done. So it's primarily all I listen to. It's pretty much all that I'm thinking about. And at the end of the night, even after 8 or 9 or 10 hours in a studio mixing, I'll bounce a track and I'll go upstairs and I'll just listen to it on the headphones for 2 more hours. Same song, you know, just trying to make sure it's where I want it to be, so that I'm giving it my all, basically. So I get really absorbed into this stuff. Anyways, I was just doing some like in the morning when I open my studio and I set it up. The first thing I do is I get my speakers up, I get some coffee, I got the lights going, everything's set the way I want it, and I just play some music for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes just to kind of get the vibe of like, this is what professional records sound like. This is how they sound in my room. This is how I want my stuff to sound. This is, and I'll listen to all genres of music just to really understand how an 808 feels in my room, how trap sounds in my room, how freaking rock sounds in my room, how, piano music sounds in my room. Cause I just want to hear how things sound in that space to get a vibe and feel like I'm EQing things correctly and I'm referencing stuff that other people are doing in the right capacity, that I'm doing my job essentially. And, anyways, Youngblood just popped into my playlist because it was a thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to press play. And I pressed play and I couldn't fucking stop listening to it for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then I paused it and I went and I worked all day. And as soon as I was done, I was like, play. And I hit play. And then so for the next few days, I just kept playing that song and a couple of his other songs. And then I went for a walk maybe like 2 days ago and just put my headphones in. And for the whole hour, I was just listening to his catalog and then came back home. And there's not a lot. Some of it I don't like, some of it I'm not that into, but like some of it's really, really good. So yeah. Anyways.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, I completely, sometimes I have also a pop song or so. For me, it's like a guilty pleasure because I kind of, for my DJing in this radio station, what I'm doing, I'm playing, dark wave and gothic and industrial. So this is the brands, and sometimes I'm just slipping in something, that's really just sweet pop, which I just love, and I like also the fringes and not a musician, I don't want to be cornered into just doing one thing. So also my playlist I curate, I always mix it up because I don't like to listen to. I mean, you seem to be the exception with this Youngblood, to one song in a row. This happened to me only once as I was very, very young, and I still had a tape deck. I did the end of a November Rain from Guns N' Roses. The end of this is really a cool ending with when a Slash plays with, and I put this on a loop on a cassette, and I was listening to because it was so cool. And anyway, this was the only time where I did loop something and listen to it extensively. So because otherwise I cannot listen to one. I'm still here. You see me? Hello? You hear me?
I think we might have froze here.
Okay.
Or you froze anyways. I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me? I still can see and hear you. I still can see and hear you. Hello, hello? You see me? I hear you. I hear you. Do you hear me? Hello, hello?
I'm gonna hang up.
Okay, and just reconnect.
Feel free to call me right back if you want.
Okay, I will do that.
Because I can't hear anything. You're just frozen.
Okay. Strange. Doo-doo. 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 Okay, I think I need to stop now. Unfortunately, the connection is too weak. Yeah, I say thank you to Derek, and maybe we do it another time again.